Uh, Hi guys. Today we're gonna look at uh, the president of China trip to Saudi Arabia. Um, this is something that I've been following up closely, and we can remember that the president of America had traveled to China a few weeks back, and we know it was because the war in Ukraine has made the oil prices to go up. So he had traveled to Saudi Arabia to talk to Mohammed bin Salman and try and tell him and convince him that he should produce more oil so that the global production can go up and the prices can come down. But as you understand, business it's a matter of supply and demand, and the Saudis aren't really interested or weren't really interested in getting the prices down. And because at now when the prices are up, they are making good money. We can remember that during the COVID year, they went losses, these producing oil companies, because no one was using fossil fuel as much because the whole world was in lockdown. So they didn't sell much. So to them, they see this as a redemption where they can now be able to sell their oil and also project their influence outside there. So Biden visit was in the aim to try and talk to Mohammed bin Salman. And it was like a hard pill to swallow because we can remember when Biden was campaigning, he campaigned on the platform that he campaigned on the platform that he was going to put Mohammed bin Salman accountable. We can all remember the murder of the Saudi journalist who was living in America called Khashoggi. Um, he was murdered in a Saudi embassy in Turkey, Istanbul, and this didn't sit well with the Democratic Party, which is Biden party. At that time, Donald Trump was in power. He's a Republican, and Republican were, were in good business with the Saudis. So Trump was willing to look away at the issue and also try to, because they were making money through the war in Yemen. So when Biden was campaigning, he made it clear that he was not going to let Mohammed bin Salman off the hook. And we can see even when he entered as president, it took a long time before Mohammed bin Salman received a call from Joe Biden, even though Biden had talked to various dignitaries, called them, even called the president of China about his re-election, but not re-election, about his election win. So considering that Saudi were the most strategic ally of in the Middle East, apart from Israel, and it was showing, Biden not calling Mohammed bin Salman was showing how the relationship was gonna be handled. So also this made Mohammed bin Salman not to take Joe Biden very seriously. And as you know, the famous thing that says the tables turn, at that time Joe Biden had the power, but when the war started now, Joe Biden came to realize that even though he was pushing Mohammed bin Salman away, he needed him because of oil. Because even the people in his country were complaining oil prices were going up. Europe, its biggest ally, was also complaining oil prices were going up. So they needed to meet at the center and discuss how they were gonna increase oil production to reduce oil cost. So when before Biden visited China, he made a call to Mohammed bin Salman, and it was on record that Mohammed bin Salman wasn't even picking up his call. So after a while, Biden decided um, to visit the Saudi prince and talk to him personally. But even the reception, it was just a normal visit. No handshake, only fist bumps. And compared to what Donald Trump reception received in the time he went to Saudi Arabia, the Biden one was a bit, like a cold shower. And from the onset, you could tell that this was not, there was tension. Mohammed Salman, even him, he didn't respect Biden. Now Biden goes, and after Biden goes, we see that Saudi Arabia now reconsidering even to sign a deal with China where they're gonna be trading their oil in Chinese currency, and this is a very significant progress because now we can see that is this the end of the petrodollar system where Saudi, where the dollar has dominated the market for, for decades, through the selling of oil through the dollar. Even though the dollar remained the most potent and strongest currency in the world, even its value is even increasing. The fact that a country like Saudi never had unheard of, 50 years, 30 years ago, it was unthought of that they could change they could start selling oil in other currency. So it also shows you that Saudi Arabia is trying to move away from the dependence of of, of Washington, and Democrats in Washington still view Mohammed bin Salman as young, naive, he has a lot of he's cocky, he thinks he can get away with everything. So even to Mohammed bin Salman, he feels this is not the right, he needs to find other ways of relating with people, especially after the war in Ukraine. The Western countries really sanctioned Russia. So also Mohammed bin Salman and the Saudis, I think the establishment are trying to see how they can navigate this waters of international politics, so that they can see how they can work with other players. So Jinping visiting China, visiting Saudi is a very big deal, because let's remember that the president of China has not been outside the country for almost 2 years. He went to Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is still part of China somehow. It's not part of China, and they changed the law, and now it's part of China, but it's still somehow. So Hong Kong to me doesn't count. But outside now, the whole of China, he is visiting Saudi Arabia. We were expecting this week. I think this week is about to end, and I don't see him. But there are heavy murmurs that he's gonna visit Saudi Arabia's first stop. This is a very significant visit, especially now. China is trying as much as possible to get so many oil suppliers. China has a deal with Russia. They're even constructing a pipeline now. Through the sanctions that Russia cannot export oil to Europe, now it's looking for new partners. India, China. China is one of them. Also, China has a deal with Iran, 20-year deal. China will provide $400 billion in infrastructure, technology, and it will be paid through oil. So China is also looking for another player, and that's Saudi Arabia, one of the largest producers of oil in the world. And why is China looking for uh, for all that much? It has to do with Taiwan and its strategic position. Let's not forget that the Taiwan issue is a very big issue in the South China Sea, through the first island chain, the second, and the third. You can see that through the fact that Taiwan considers itself an independent state, this does not sit well with the Chinese government. The Chinese government still considers Taiwan as part of China. You can remember that the monarch that was there in the China era before, before the revolution of Mao Zedong, they ran away, and they ran away to the island of Taiwan and formed their own government. But always China has considered them a part of their territory. And this is a very tricky situation, because now America is involved, and Taiwan has clearly, even though China considered Taiwan a part of its territory, Taiwan has tried to work very independently through open its own diplomatic offices in the world, aligning itself with America. Uh, and this has really brought a strain to the Chinese and Taiwanese and American relationship. And the fact that China is an expanding power, it also threatens the neighboring countries feel threatened, because now China is taking over their territorial waters, controlling the shipping lane. Let's not forget the southern the South China Sea. It's one of the biggest routes of trade, and trillions of dollars pass through there. So for China, this route is very necessary to be guarded, and also for America, it's very necessary to guard that route, since through the first island chain, when you look at Taiwan, the Okinawa Islands, you can easily see Japan is there. You go there, there's South Korea. So there's a lot of economic activity happening there, and war breaking out there would be catastrophic. And apart from there, the waters are very fish rich and mineral rich. The deposits of oil, and so China is preparing itself. Not just economically, strategic, and militarily, because its field is surrounded, and the earth might be shrinking under its feet. And if war to break out between China and Taiwan, the first thing would be done would be the blockade of supplies to China. And China strongly feels that the American government will blockade, and there will be no passage of energy like oil and other this energy. So Jinping visit to Riyadh is more of a strategic visit. And Jinping is also, let's not forget, Jinping's dad was a governor during the communist revolution of China. And even though he was outside by Mao Zedong, Jinping went and studied in America. He lived most of his life in America. So he really understands the whole political dynamics. He's a very smart guy. The Chinese establishments have the guys top there are smart, so they view working with Saudi as at this critical time um, as a very, I'd say, the right time, because now there's trend between America and the Saudi. And as you can see, China is positioning itself as the de facto superpower of the Middle East. We can see immediately America pulled out of Afghanistan. China was there. It recognized the Taliban. It has been helping them, training them, trying to revive the economy. Now China is helping Iran massively, and then now China is going for Saudi Arabia. So China is also for trying to work with Saudi Arabia. Uh, One of the reasons I think Jinping is visiting. Saudi Crown Prince had this vision of creating a super city, a modern city, a 21st century city. He wants to move away his country from dependence on oil, because, as you know, the Saudi kingdom has been like a social state where everyone, the citizens of the Saudi kingdom, have been feeding from the state. The state makes money from oil, and then the state provides everything for the people, and that economy cannot be sustained. Healthcare is cheap. Sometimes healthcare, sometimes I don't know if I'm wrong, but I hear it's also free healthcare. Oil is free, education is almost free, so that cannot be sustained. So they are trying to build a city called Neom, and that was one of the flagship projects that Mohammed Salman, immediately the crown prince, entered, because he's a crown prince, but he's second into command from his dad. His dad was a former governor of Riyadh. Mohammed bin Salman grew very close to his dad. When his brothers went to study abroad, Mohammed bin Salman was left with his dad. So his dad grew very fond of him. And now he has made him the second most powerful person in Saudi Arabia. So this project was a brainstorm of Mohammed bin Salman, and immediately got into power. He traveled, uh, talked to the corporate world of the Western, the corporate heads of the Western world, the Teslas, the Microsoft, and they were supposed to, the Ubers, invest in this project where it could create a super city. But the issue of Khashoggi, excuse, but the issue of Khashoggi murder really made the Western people you know, to back off a bit and feel like maybe we shouldn't be doing this business with this guy. He's pretending to be a very reformist leader of Saudi Arabia, pretending to, give women rights now. But in the background, probably this guy is just pretending to get us to work with him. It doesn't really mean that. And Mohammed bin Salman felt really betrayed, and he had to think outside the box. And I feel like one of the reason even the president of China is visiting, I feel the Chinese government is willing to invest in this project. China is the second most powerful economy. The Chinese have money. They might fund this project. uh, as we speak, China and Saudi Arabia are working together through Huawei to open a digital academy in Saudi Arabia, and Huawei is going to build uh, in telecommunication and cyber internet infrastructure of Saudi. So this visit is very, very key. Like the US losing is the Chinese gaining, and I feel this visit will change how politics in the Middle East are handled and how I behave. And I'm eager to see how the American government will respond to this kind of shift. Chinese are known to be very aggressive, diplomatic. They come with goodies. They don't mess around. And the fact that Chinese don't interfere with the local politics of a country, that also makes it very significant. Also, this visit also helps the president of China and the Chinese government to tell off the people who have been saying there is massacre of Muslims, of Uyghur Muslims in China. The fact that um, a country like Saudi can, the fact like a country like Saudi can accept them and also help them in, and also, it's called the maker of the Muslim world, accept the president of China, even though the accusation that there's genocide in China. It means that the Saudis, like, they're giving a statement of green light that the Chinese are not doing these things. The Chinese are good people. We can work with them. So that also puts a dent on the American administration in terms of how it's going to view itself and how it's going uh, to work with the Middle East. Um, Thank you, guys. That's all I had for today. I'll keep updating you guys on politics and economy and finance when it comes to this power play, these power play games, and we'll continue interacting. You can follow the channel, like, subscribe. We'll appreciate. And see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.